Hey everybody. Okay, you know what we're going to talk about today? Cash flow. We're going to create more cash flow for ourselves. Now, I've talked to you guys many times and told you I'm a house sitter. So what is house sitting? House sitting is I stay for a set period of time in somebody's house taking care of their pets. That's what I do. They go on vacation or maybe they go on a business trip, whatever the case. I'm there for however long they're gone. So if they're gone for a week, I'm there for a week. If they're gone for 2 weeks, I'm there. If they're for 3 days, I'm gone. Whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's just overnight. I'm in their house taking care of their pets as like a surrogate. Okay. Now, when I first started doing this, I was getting paid $60 a night. So I've been at this 2 years at least. I'm up to $100 a night. So just to give you an idea, okay? And that is still conservative, considering what other like independent pet care companies charge for house sitting. Because like the woman that I used to work for, who has her own business, she's been established for 30 years, and I was a dog walker and cat care for her for a year and a half. She charges $160 a night, and she keeps 100, and she was paying her walkers she was paying me $60 a night to stay there, but she was keeping 100. She just didn't, so whatever. My point is, people are charging $160 or better per night for house sitting. It's a premium service. So when I first was starting, I was at $60. So I increased my pricing as I've increased my client base and my experience. So you see what I'm saying? And what am I really doing? I'm sleeping there. I'm living there. I'm getting a lot of benefits by doing this because I have a place to rest my head. I have usually pretty nice, comfy accommodations in these people's homes. I can, use the kitchen. I could use the house as if it's my own. Okay? All the things. Just like how I've explained, when I'm in the hotel, I have all the things I need. I have everything I need. And that's really what it is. So I'm getting paid to live in somebody's house and take care of their pets. I get up in the morning, I feed them, I walk them, whatever the case. I start my day. In the daytime, in the middle of the day, I take them for a walk. And after I'm finished working, I feed them dinner. We do another walk. Then we play, whatever we play throughout the day. That's my day. I love it. But I really love animals. Dogs, cats, birds. They're all my BFFs, okay? That's my point. So it's got to be something that you really have an affinity for. You have to really have the affinity for pets because, they are entities. They can extract energy from you. And even like the annoying ones, I have some dogs, they're, one's a Chihuahua, the other one's a Boston Terrier, and I'm going to be seeing them in a couple weeks. They're yappy little mofos. Especially Ruby, she's a Chihuahua. The nature of a Chihuahua is... I have another one. He's a hound dog and a beagle, and he's another barker. My point is, that could be annoying, but you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with it, and you got to find ways to mitigate it, or whatever. So you have to kind of understand what are the pluses and the minuses of these kind of things. But it's easy work. It's easy work because, you give them some walks, you feed them, you pretty much can do whatever you want. If you had to run errands after you've done their morning routines, you can run errands. Most dogs, you can leave them for 3-4 hours at a time. Not all of them, but most of them, So like if you had to run out for a few hours, you're good. And you can kind of go about your day. Now, is it ideal for somebody that works 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day? No, that's not that particular thing. So again, this is for somebody who maybe doesn't have conventional 40 hours. You got to be clocked in somewhere. So now you can do daily dog walking. You don't have to necessarily offer house sitting. Daily dog walks. Give you an idea. Half an hour visit, $25. $25 for a half an hour walk. If they have 2 dogs, you can charge them an additional $5 so now you got $30 for a half an hour walk. And those people could want you 5 days a week. And they could want you several times a day. They could maybe want you to walk twice a day. So think about that. So if let's say you have somebody who has 2 dogs, They need 2 walks a day, 5 days a week, $30 a visit for every half hour. So you got $60 a day times 5. That's $300 for just one client for their 2 dogs to do the 2 walks. Okay? Now do the math. You just keep adding. You see what I'm saying? So it could be lucrative. If I didn't say, I've recorded this so many freaking times and I forget what I say. So if I didn't tell you I started at $60 when I was doing the house sitting, I'm now at $100, and I charge $10 for every additional dog. Over the weekend, I had 3 dogs for this one client. She doesn't go through Rover. I didn't get her through Rover. So I get 100% of that because she's paying me directly. So it was $120 for the 3 dogs for every night. It was there 2 nights. So it was $240 for 2 nights with those dogs. Very low maintenance dogs. They're not playful dogs. They're more than happy to just lay around, and we do a couple of walks, and they get fed, and they beg me for treats, and that's kind of like the day. In addition to that, I had another one of my clients hit me up. She needed it like last minute because they were going into the city for a few days because her husband's father's birthday, and they forgot to arrange pet care for Henry. So she hits me up, and I was like, well, I've got a house sit, but if you're fine with it, I can take Henry with me. So there was one night where it overlapped. So now I made $240 for those 3 dogs, and then Henry was 2 nights. That was $200 through Rover, and after Rover took their cut, I got 160 of that. So that was 160 and 240. That was $400 for 2 nights, 3 nights, 3 nights of staying with there, and all of the dogs involved were low maintenance. And I worked Friday at I did my regular job Friday, and I did my job Saturday, half a day, because I took sick time. So that's my point. Now, if you do like I said, daily dog walking, that could be lucrative. I have one of my friend, her son's girlfriend does this. She goes to college, but when she's not in college and she's home, she does dog walking. And she does pretty good, the kid's 18, 19, whatever like that. So there's that. Now, let's say you have your own place. And by your own place, I mean like a place you own, not a place that you rent, because landlords can be funny. You could also offer boarding. Now, boarding offers a unique advantage because you can have more than one dog at your house at any given time. Now, there might be a little bit of a little bit of an investment as far as getting maybe some crates, but you can get secondhand crates on Facebook Marketplace for $10, $15. People are selling those things all the time, because people think they can get more of them, but they're a dime a dozen. My point is, you could pick up crates for relatively cheap. You get like maybe 2 or 3 crates, $30 investment. You could start taking dogs, having them board. You can do doggy daycare, where somebody drops their dog off to your house for, 3, 4, 5 hours a day, maybe 8 hours a day, whatever the case may be. But that dog has some place to go in your home. And again, you can have more than one dog. And that really is ideal because you get to stay in one place. And if you got multiple people paying, let's say you have 5 dogs a day. Let's say you have 5 dogs a day, maybe Monday through Friday, because most people want doggy daycare during the week when they're working. Think about that, okay? Think about that. Doggy daycare could be like $40 to $50 per day or whatever. However, I don't offer doggy daycare, but I'm just saying, like you could look at places like Dogtopia or whatever like that. Maybe you can undercut Dogtopia, especially if, you have more than one dog. I'm just saying. But there's factors there, like if you have kids, you got to consider safety for the kids. You got to consider safety for the dogs. There's also, when you do that, there's a little bit more risk because there's a little bit more risk, a little bit more liability because it's in your home, but relatively pretty easy. Like I know people that do it, whatever. And then, if you need to take time for yourself, if you yourself want to go away, you you let your clients know, listen, I'm not going to be available this period of time. And that is what it is. You got to take time for yourself. My point is, you can create a pet care business any way that fits within your lifestyle. So, and it's not a bad gig. It's not a bad gig. But you got to also consider weather when it gets, when it gets wet, when it's rainy, or when it becomes cold, especially if you're doing dog walks. You're doing dog walks because, that could, it's rain or shine kind of deal. You got to consider, your travel time and, but then again, you also have the luxury of determining your service radius. So that you don't have to travel very far, so maybe if there is inclement weather one day, you can but a lot of times these days, when it's bad weather, people don't even go into the office and they stay home and they end up canceling the walks and stuff like that. I noticed that was a lot. So my point is, there are all different kinds of ways. Now, I offer my services through Rover. That's how I got my start. Okay. Rover does a background check. It's $25. So that is your investment in yourself, $25 to get yourself started. You create a profile, you be creative, you don't lie, but you be creative and you be more unique. You like if you look at Rover, you'll see everybody kind of uses the same headline things and everything like that, and they don't use any real creativity in what they put in there. And you just kind of, create a profile. You don't get too lengthy. You put it together, and you figure out what services you want to offer. And you'll start getting people contact you. Sometimes they're scammy people. You easily can see the scammy people right off the bat, because they'll be like, hey, I'm moving to your area, but I want to set up. You're a scammer. Like, they'll be like, I'm moving from California to your area, but I want to set up you to be my daily dog walker, so that this way, before I get there, they're trying to scam. That's a common scam that goes on there. And most of the time you can pick it out pretty quickly. Other than that, if you can get through those little scammers in the beginning, because they look for new people, that is like the only pitfall with Rover. The other thing is you cannot talk to people about taking their business off of Rover. You can't discuss that through the Rover app, because Rover will say, you know what, deuces, you're stealing our traffic. So you gotta be mindful of that. And there was something else. I don't remember. It could, I could go on all day. I can go on all day. You don't have to go through Rover. Oh, testimonials, getting people to review you. So if you've ever cared for anybody else's animals or something like that, or you have somebody, have them make a Rover profile and give you a rating, because that helped me in the beginning, because I wasn't getting bites. And then I went and I did it myself. I used real ratings that I got from having worked for Pam before starting my Rover thing, and I used what people reviewed and said about me, and I just pretended to be that person and made the review. It worked, and I got bites, and I started to get clients, and that's how it is. So my point is, I know some people need to make more money. Pet care can be a great alternative. And it's also because not only have I been just house sitting, I've been limiting myself because how my prior living situation was with my brother. But then I'm like, you know what? I need more income. And why am I not offering dog walking in the evenings? I might not be able to do them during the day, but I could still do cat care, because like I said, cat care is early morning and afternoons, late afternoons, evening. And that's what, because I need to do this for myself. I need to figure out, change my services. So it's fresh in my mind. And if I don't talk about it now, I will forget it. So That's what I'm putting out here for you guys. It's something to consider. You know, are you willing to spend $25 to put towards yourself to create a business? And is it something that you can see yourself doing? Because it can really work out. And if, like I said, if you have another kind of job, you can do this alongside it, and hopefully, you know, it doesn't interfere with your other job. Maybe you have the kind of income that this works out very well with. So there you go. I gotta go because I gotta start packing up my stuff because I'm leaving tomorrow and doing a house sit. All right, bye. Be well.